Ref.Rap, high school football rules. It's 1st and 10 when? With fouls. Federation Rule 5.3.1, establishing the line to gain. Ref.Rap is subordinate to Federation and OHSAA, Ohio High School Athletic Association. Ref.Rap is a supplement and complement to your exhaustive study of the Federation Rules Book and OHSAA rulings. Even though its amiable intent is to fortify and reinforce rules and its interpretations, the Federation and OHSAA official publications take precedence. Do you enjoy rule study? Can you remember and recall them on the field when you need them? Let Ref.Rap's interactive tools and tutorials be your conduit to comprehension through our time-tested Track to Train. Federation Rule 5.3.1, line to gain and measurements, and establishing the line to gain. The line to gain is 10 yards in advance of the ball's foremost point when a new series of downs is awarded. When a new series of downs is awarded, the penalties for all fouls, including non-player and unsportsmanlike conduct, committed prior to the ready for play, shall be administered before the line to gain is established. The line to gain then remains fixed until the series ends and a new line to gain is established. Key words: a new series, when you have penalties, prior to the ready for play, administered before the line to gain. So most often we should have a 1st and 10. Rarely should we have a 1st and 25. Try this truism: the line to gain is last. Adjudicate and administrate everything else before establishing and then confirming the line to gain. Ready routine and your results. For the routine, what preparations get us ready? The ramp. How do we achieve this? By doing Rule Federation 5.3.1. From an acumen standpoint, although there is nothing specifically in the Federation's casebook, we do have some learning interactive tools that are associated directly to this and will provide that IQ and EQ. Mechanics. For Ohio officials, go to your gold book. Look at first down mechanics number 11, flag mechanics number 12, and penalty enforcement mechanics number 27. Also for Ohio officials, we can look at from a philosophical standpoint. You want to establish everything before the RFP or before the ready for play. And in general, even if you're outside of Ohio, even within the Federation's guidelines for officials, utilizing Rule 5.3.1, we want to establish everything and confirm everything before we make the ready for play. So in doing so, of establishing the line to gain when we have fouls, what outputs do we want to achieve? What's our result? There would be the 4 A's. We assume authority by having a good pregame with our chain crew as we are inspecting the field. Make sure that the chain crew understands what they're required. They are actually now part of the officiating crew and work accordingly with us. We assess by always being aware of game situations and having good game awareness. Where is the line to gain before or after we have penalties? Where are things enforced? What is the line to gain associated with as we have penalties and we enforce them accordingly? From an adjudication standpoint, we adjudicate by confirming our succeeding spot prior to the ready for play. Remember, the ready for play is the biggest factor here. If we do everything and confirm everything before the ready for play, we can have the line to gain established. If we do it afterwards, now we have some other things that we have to take into play. So confirm your succeeding spot prior to the ready for play and make sure that the line to gain is the last thing that we put in place. We administrate this by having our referee do a good announcement of by rule that the line to gain is the last thing that is established. A referee announcement with a field mic, of course, makes this easier, but even if you do not have the field mic, please gather both head coaches, either individually or collectively, and do so that everyone understands and comprehends what's going on. When in doubt, For Ohio officials, go to your gold book. Number 5, when in doubt, is always measure your line to gain or establish your line to gain before you go into your ready for play. And again, in general, for all officials, even outside of Ohio, the philosophy is try to make sure that you have everything adjudicated and administrated accordingly before the ready for play. Let's look at our learning interactive tools, or LITs. LIT number 1. This is a real game example. On 4th and 5, snapping from the A-40, A's pass falls incomplete. But during the pass, B40 commits a defensive pass interference foul. After the penalty is adjudicated, but before the ready for play, A's assistance coach commits an unsportsmanlike foul. How do we adjudicate this? Choices. A, it's A 1st and 10 at the A -40. Game clock starts on the snap and the play clock is at 25 seconds. B, A 1st and 25 at the A -15. Game clock starts on the snap and play clock is at 25 seconds. Choice C, it's B's ball 1st and 10 at the A -40. Game clock starts on the snap, play clock at 25 seconds. Or D, the foul's offset and we replay 4th down. Per rule, the choice would be A. It'll be 1st and 10, A's ball at the A -40. The game clock will start on the snap and the play clock will be at 25 seconds. Learning interactive tool number 2, another real example. A 4th and 5 at the A -40. A1 pitches to A44, who rounds the corner and runs to the B +20. During A44's run, he turns around and taunts his opponent, B52, at the A -47. Also, A50 commits an offensive holding foul at the B +49. How would this be adjudicated? Using Rule Federation 5.3.1, we have an unsportsmanlike conduct foul. However, by rule, especially going into Rule 9, we see that unsportsmanlike conduct fouls in high school are adjudicated from the succeeding spot. So we also have an offensive holding foul, a live ball foul, which then is adjudicated from the basic spot per Rule 7 and Rule 9 also. In this case, the offensive holding foul will be adjudicated first because it's a basic spot foul. And since the unsportsmanlike conduct foul is a succeeding spot foul, it will be enforced afterwards. We will have, as long as it's before they're ready for play, we will have an A 1st and 10. Where? Tell me in the comments. Works cited: Federation publications, rules, case, simplified and illustrated books, OHSAA resources, the Gold Book and its football website, OHSAAFB.com, the home of the Youngstown District Football Officials Association, MahoneyOfficials.com, and my grandchildren. Let's review. Remember, we assume authority by having a great pregame with the chain crew. Very, very important. Make sure that the chains are truly 10 yards apart. Make sure that the chains are in working order. Make sure you have your 5-yard mark where it's necessary. And do a good on-field inspection and discussion with them. We assess by always being aware and knowing where our line to gain is before or even after a penalty, and making sure that we discuss that with the crew and have consensus on board. Adjudication, make sure that we confirm the succeeding spot before any ready for play. Remember the truism, the line to gain is last. Establish that last. Make sure everything is adjudicated and everything is in place beforehand before you do the ready for play and the line to gain. And from an administration standpoint, make sure that it is comprehended throughout. This can be very much enhanced with the R making a good announcement that by rule, here's how the line to gain is established. Was this a good summation of the rules? Is it understood? Did you learn something new, or was this a good refresher? Did it have more meaning for you now? Please provide any questions or feedback or further rules study you'd like to see in the comments. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. If you can explain this rationale, you have successfully completed this course. Thank you to my family, colleagues, and peers for your time, care, and commitment to the officiating avocation.